water, just like we have in the oil and gas, whereby a lot of organizations flare gas, while in the power industry, they also flare gas. Some, let me say, gases from their processes. So the air, the soil, and all of that. So that is HSE. So why is HSE important? To keep people alive, to make sure people are healthy despite working, they are still healthy, to protect the environment for future generation, that's sustainability. Meeting the needs of now without impacting the needs of tomorrow. Because when we meet, because we want to meet up with the needs of our, let's say our target, we have a target, but what happens tomorrow? Maybe that thing will not be available again. So that's sustainability. To avoid financial loss and legal penalties. So just like we have here, when a chemical factory neglects the damage, uh, are we together?
Yes,
I'm with
sir.
you,
Sir,
sir.
we are.
Okay. So why we manage HSE are three. We have the moral reasons, we have the legal reasons, and we have the financial reasons. Moral, legal, and financial. What do we understand by moral? What do we understand by legal? And what do we understand by financial? Anybody? Hello? Okay. Regina.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. And moral has to do with building safety culture in the environment, in the workplace environment, in order to meet up with certain standards that has to do with the legal aspect of it, meeting up with legal requirements, ensuring that whatever activities are being involved and the culture is involved in it, it will not have any legal disadvantage. And it's kind of ensuring that the company is meeting up with regulations and rules that is pertaining to the environment and other regulatory bodies. And then for the aspect of financial, once there is proper good HSE practice in an environment, you tend to see that the financial implications that will result afterwards, maybe if an accident should occur, or if a hazard should be like encountered in such a workplace, the financial implications will limit the company to some extent, because the money you are using to pay for compensations can also be a form of profit once such hazards are being avoided. That's what I understand, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I thought Victory was raising.
Yes, sir.
You were raising your hand, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, go on.
Okay, two drivers of HSE management. So for moral, to maintain the safety etiquettes of the industry, that's the etiquette that guides the particular factory or company or industry. Then for legal, so as the company or individual will not be penalized or sanctioned or fined. Then for financial, that's for the individual, that's himself or herself, and the company, when damages happen, that's when it comes to the equipment, they will have to, either repair or buy a new one. So it's costless if such hazard or accident is avoided. Then in the terms of the individual, himself or herself, to avoid setting, trying to foot the bill, maybe medical bill or something sort of like that. So that's the way I understood it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Are we taking notes? James, you were raising your hand before we proceed.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I was raising my hand. Yeah. The moral reason has to do with the rights of the workers, because every worker have that right to go back home in a safe condition. So the company, the organizations owes the workers that duty of care to ensure that they go back home in a safe condition. Then the legal reason behind health and safety is that by law it is it is enshrined that every organization must ensure that their worker go back home in a safe condition. And if an injury occurs, they can be prosecuted. The organization can even be jailed and fined, as the case may be. Then the financial reason, that injury and damage to company assets can lead to loss of revenue. So every organization should ensure that they put the HSE management system in place so that they will not lose money as a result of injury and property damage incurred in the organization. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for that, guys. That's awesome. I'm impressed. So we have, like I mentioned here, we have moral, legal, and financial reasons for this. So moral reasons, it means that, well, when we say something is morally right, moral can be how do we put it? When we say something is morally right, it means something is acceptable. This is how we do our things. This is how things should go naturally. That is why you get to see that some persons do some things that we just felt, no, 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 that thing is not right. It's not supposed to. You shouldn't have done that. Because as a person, as a society, we believe this is, no matter what, we've created a threshold that no matter what you do, it shouldn't be more than this. It shouldn't be less than this. Anything more than this is not acceptable. Anything less than this is not acceptable. So it's a social construct between individuals in the organizations. Like, yes. So one of the best reason why we manage HSC, and the most important reason why we manage HSC, is the moral reasons. Because no matter what, nobody should die because they are trying to earn a living. Nobody should get injured because they are trying to earn a living. Every worker that you see out there, they have their human rights. What does the Constitution say? Everybody has a right to life. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everybody has a right to life. So it is expected that no matter what, when somebody gets into your facility, that person is expected to live the same way they came into your facility. No matter what, if they are working there, if they are not working there, even if they are around, whatever you are doing should not affect the other person negatively. So it is your responsibility, you as a safety persons, you let the organization understand that no matter what, because this is not just it's not just a training on certification, is mentorship. We need to we need to understand the depth of this. You as a safety person, it is your duty to let the organization understand that outside every other reason, maybe the financial reasons, the legal reasons that comes with it, because there's a regulation, there's rules and all of that. It is expected that it is morally expected that when you come into our facility as a worker, as a vendor, you should leave this facility the same way you came into the facility. I shouldn't have to come to the facility and when I'm going, I'm already having a itchy eye. Maybe my eyes are red based on some chemicals in the air because I was not given a safety Google. Or my ears are having issues because when I came into your environment, the noise is too much. Or because somebody is working for you, by the time they are leaving, or maybe they are now rushing somebody out of your organization with an ambulance because they want to rush that person to the hospital. The person has just cut the person's limbs has just been cut off. So it is morally unacceptable to expose people to all this risk. It is not acceptable. So as an organization, it is our moral responsibility to make sure that whoever comes into the organization goes home safe. You know that a single accident can change somebody's life forever. Are we together?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So that's the moral reasons why we manage HSE, because it is nobody should come to work and not live the same way. So when you go to an organization, maybe during our excursions when we were in school, they are telling when you get there, they give us adults, give us this thing. It's not for anything. It is because it is morally right. And it is also your own moral responsibility, not just organization. You as an individual. Your safety is your responsibility. So it is only morally right that when I'm going into an organization whereby, okay, I know this is because you do not know the safety standard of the organization you are going to. Let's say there are people that are not aware of safety. They do not value safety. Because they don't value safety, does that mean I have to die in the process? Or does that mean I have to injure myself in the process? No. So it is my own moral responsibility to make sure that I am safe. I don't know if I'm communicating. So we should not wait
yeah,
on their own moral right, like, okay, they should know that they should provide. You don't just like we say, don't let them kill you. Because after they kill you, whatever happens after that, that person is gone. It's gone. I don't know if I'm communicating.
Yes,
yes,
sir.
Mhm. So, in as much as it is the moral, it is we manage the moral reasons why we manage it. It extends to everybody, both the organization and the individual. I can be coming to your company tomorrow. It is normal. I may not know. I may feel maybe the level of the safety in my organization is higher than yours. I don't even know. But I don't have to wait that when I get there, I believe that and when I now get there and I realize that the situation, the safety standard there is not what I expect. What do? I don't put myself in a situation whereby I get myself injured or killed by probably leaving or making sure I bring my own PPA so that I am fine. So we'll go to the next one, which is the legal reasons. As a Nigerian, they say ignorance is not an excuse. Are we together? Ignorance is not an excuse. Just apart from being in Nigeria, everywhere you are, ignorance is not an excuse. Meaning that as an individual, initially the moment we came into the world, naturally as a person, we already have a right. We already have rights. We have a right to life. We have a right to and that is what the government has already put in place. And the same thing goes to the government. The same thing goes to regulations. The work of those regulations that they've put some things in place, and they are now saying that anybody that falters, anybody that do not meet up to social standard, or anybody that if some things like this happen, and it is as a result of this, this person will serve social jail time. This person will be fined for this. You get it? So that's illegal. So that's the legal reasons why people manage HSE. So as an employer, the law has put it that you have a legal duty to provide a safe workplace. Like the moment you decide that I want to have a workplace, and when we say an organization, when we say let's say we put Total as an organization. Total is just a name. Who are Total? The people, the management. It encompasses everything. both the people, the management. So it's not just that name total. I don't know if I'm communicating. So it is now the legal responsibility of those people that to provide a safe workplace for their staff or for anybody that is coming close to their facility. So that is a legal reasons why we manage. So the government have created laws. There's regulations for health and safety. So I don't know, can somebody mention like in your industry or the industry you aim to work, can you mention some laws, some regulatory body in your industry or the industry you aim to work in? Can you mention some regulatory body that you've heard of or that you know of? Anybody?
I saw
Hello, I can't hear you. I don't know if I'm
I saw. Hello,
come
sir.
again. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said ISO. That's the ISO.
ISO. Okay. So what do you understand by that ISO? I don't know. Okay, I'm listening.
I one thing I've observed that was during my time working at 7 Up Botany Company. So I know they do this audit. So they come around
Okay.
for proper inspections. They go from different departments, especially when it comes to the production aspect of it, to ensure that
Okay.
we are up to standard. You see all of us, but just like trying to dot our I's and cross our T's to ensure that everywhere. And I know during that period, everywhere, everyone is so tense. My sure that everywhere is clean, pink spa. Like almost time we work overtime to ensure that we meet up to target. So that's basically what I know. That once ISO starts, everybody is always on their toes.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
They don't want to be fined.
Don't know if it's
Yes, sir.
okay. Okay. Thank you. So any other person? Okay, Jamio.
All right, so I don't know if this will count, but in automobile industry, there is a regulatory body that ensure that all lubricants make sure make this vegetation. So we have the American Petroleum Institute. So they specify all these industry, but they don't totally come to ensure that all industry are living themselves. So that's why I said I don't know if it counts as the normal regulatory body in the
No,
industry.
of course it does. That's every industry has regulatory because you do not expect let's say a department like the former what's it called? The formerly called DPR, Department of Petroleum Resources. You don't expect a DPR to be the regulatory body for an automobile industry. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So every industry has their own regulatory agencies that understands how the industry works, that sets a standard that okay, this is what you should do. This they set threshold for what should be done and what should not be done. So you have a very, very, very valid addition. Oluwasegun.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. So, I work in the mining sector, and one of
Okay, sir.
the organizations that I've always come around is the Ministry of Mines, ensuring that whenever I want to blast, our explosives are rightly gotten and approved from the right authorities, and as well as compliance with the environmental regulations that are under the Mines Act. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Segun. So Jimo, then James. Jimo, go ahead. Okay, I think Jimo is not here. So James, you are raising your hand.
Yes, sir. I think current to I work in the construction industry. So there was a time, though I've not joined the industry then, but I heard there was a time they came to actually check our organization to see whether we are complying with engineering practice. Then I know of Ministry of Labor. I think they come to also check whether our organization comply with the Labor Act and the rest. So these two, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay, are we all together?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So somebody mentioned ISO. ISO is a standard. ISO is a standard, just like we have regulations, we have our laws and we have regulatory bodies. So ISO is a standard. Our regulatory body in Nigeria, let's give Nigeria for example. Have you heard of LASEPA, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency? Have we heard of ISPON, Institute of Safety Professional of Nigerians? Have we heard about the Factory Act? Have we heard about the Labor Act? All of this. So this, like the Factory Act, they cover the workplace safety requirements. They've mentioned it. The ISPON Act. In the ISPON Act, they are given the mandate to also make sure that they can regulate safety professionals across the country. Are we together? So these regulatory bodies set standard that okay, this is when they said okay, this is what should be done, and is this is the threshold, this is what you can do, and this is what you cannot do. So when you do not comply, what happens? There's fine. They can fine you, they can sentence the person to jail. And this does not just applies to individual, it also applies to organizations. So it is legally, it is a legal, it is a legal requirement that every organization should make sure that their workplace is safe. So the government have created those laws and they have created those regulations to make sure that for health and safety, they have created those laws and regulations, and we now have them for the health and safety. So that is why the legal reasons why you see so many organizations, so many people don't look at moral. Like, if nobody is checkmating them, they would rather not do it. You get so you now see the reason why they have to be a legal reasons for something because we cannot just rely on morals because morals is subjective. What you see that is right may be wrong to me, or what you feel that is right, I may not see it as a big deal. What is a big deal to you? So that is why um countries have made it a point of action to have rules and regulations that guides everything that we do because people do not people do not they do not take those moral reasons because if we just leave it like okay, everybody should know that why should know that the workers should not do this kind of work without having a body harness, no, or without the workplace is not safe, workers should not work there. No, organization will go, so many organizations will go for profits above the health and safety of their workers. So that is why we now have regulations. That is why we have laws. So because of this, which has become one of our key it has become our key in health and safety, it has become our key tools. When you see that the organization is like they are trying to shift grounds like we cannot, then you now come in as a safety professional. By the time you start eating them the legal reasons why they have to do, you see many organizations sitting right because they do not want to have any issue with the government. The government is powerful, the government covers everything. So they do not want to have issues with government. So that is why we have the legal reasons. The legal reasons why we manage HSE. Because if you do not comply to that deal, they get fines. The top management, so many in countries outside Nigeria, like the US, the UK, there have been so many times whereby Top management staff have been sentenced to jail, not 5 years, not 10 years, because of the death of some workers, because of their negligence, because of their oversight, because it is the law over there. So because of that, so many organizations take safety serious. So we cannot take it out of it and rely on our moral reasons. Are we together? So we are expatiating on this so that as a safety professional, we many of us we will all get to management level. We'll have a management meeting. We'll discuss this thing with our with the investors, the owners of the companies that ah people, this is the reason why we have to do this. So when you come in with the moral reasons, know that organizations, the moment you can tie it to legal, they listen. It is very, I don't know, we shouldn't be here in the first place, but you know how it works. You have to, we have to, you have to know your laws. It is very, very important. This is an important thing as a safety professional. Know the laws, know rules, know the regulations, know what the regulatory is, so that you don't find yourself as a safety manager and your company, the company that you manage the health and safety, is falling short of the regulatory requirement. And when the regulatory comes, um, they probably shut down the factory or the production just because you guys are fall short of the health and safety of the legal requirements. It doesn't speak well. So that is why we need to get familiarized to whichever industry we find ourselves with the regulations of that industry. And also their standards. Like when you see industry going for ISO, the reason why they go for ISO is not a legal requirement. So that's some, I think, let me just go there a little. ISO is International Standard Organization. It's a standard. It's for standardization. So what it means is that many organizations, if I want to, if I want to deal with your organization, I want to be sure that your organization take the safety of the workers seriously. So what do I do? Okay, I now put it as only organizations that have ISO 45001 are the organization my organizations are going to collaborate with. So you now see your organizations trying to make sure that they have the ISO standard, they have the ISO certificates to show that yes, because by the time you're having an ISO certificate, they won't just certify you that you have met ISO standard. It is believed that for you to have gotten it, ISO must have done their before they issue it, they have done their assignments, they've done their homework, that every single processes, everything you do is following the standard that you have been issued a certificate of. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So did we get that?
Yes, sir.
So now we now go to another reason, because many organizations do not really take the moral. So many organizations, they will if they will rather act irrationally. Many top management, they will rather do things like they will rather just do things instead of following the moral reasons to do some stuffs. But when they now see that there's a financial implications to what they are doing, they are now going to stop. You get. So what happens when an accident happened? That is a financial. So there are financial costs to it. When an accident happened, there are direct and indirect costs. Let's say there's an explosion in a plant, then the plant has to shut down. A production that gives them, let's say, 100 million in a week. After an explosion, they have to start rebuilding. Maybe the thing got damaged to the extent that even their what's it called, insurance could not cover to that level. So they have to start spending money. Now they have to shut down for 3 weeks. Now they are going to lose 100 million naira for 3 weeks. And investors, they are profit driven. So when we have meeting with them, when we are trying to push, when we are trying to give them reason why they need to do some of these things, we will also, as a safety professional, we need to always act. We need to always make our presentation. We need to always make our discussion. When we are telling them the moral reason why something should be done, we need to attach some of these things to the legal reasons, to the regulations that binds whatever it is we are doing. And we also attach it to these financials, because investors, many managements, depending on the kind of organization and their culture, what they want to hear is money. They want to see the financial cost. If we don't do this thing, this is what it's going to cost us. We have a fire, there's a fire outbreak. Probably if we had seen, if we had noticed, or if there's a fire suppression system whereby, let's say, a fire alarm, if there's a fire alarm, we would have been aware that there's a fire, and the fire can be fought in that, probably, let's say the fire is just within a confined place. The fire can be fought immediately before it escalates. Or probably there's a smoke detector before it even gets to a very big fire. A smoke detector can easily detect it. And how much is a smoke detector? How much is fire alarm system? Not putting all these things in place, what will it cost the organization? To cost the organization more. What you could have done probably with 100,000. After the explosion, the casualty, 2 workers got injured. They have to, what happens? The company is now spending more. So when we are giving them, when we are giving our presentations, when we are having a management meeting, when we are talking, we also need to also bring into it the financial aspect of all of this. We need to let them know that there are direct costs. There are things that, okay, when it happens, what happens? When it happens, a personnel, 2 personnel are dead, 3 others are injured. We are giving them medical bills. The other ones that are dead, the families are suing us to courts. They are suing us. We are paying probably, they say the organization is going to pay for the coffee, they are going to pay the burial rights. This is what they are going to do. They are now the top management, for not putting some systems in place, are going to jail. They are going to face courts. So many of these things, something that probably an early detection could have prevented. So these are direct costs, those medical bills, the compensation that they want to claim after they've taken the organization to court, and now there's a fine on the organization. So you now start paying for compensation claims. Now the equipment has been damaged. You start paying for vendors to come and repair the equipment, start shipping in. Some equipment are so expensive that billions are, like turbines. How much do they sell? How much to get a turbine? Talking about millions of dollars to bring them, to ship them in from another country. What could have been prevented? So when we are making this discussion, we need to always chip in. Very important, the financial benefits. Why the organization has to do this. So it helps positions, they get to just say like, we are support service, they just they consume. Today they are buying PPE. Today, this PPE is after 6 months, they are demanding for a party. Maybe the PPE lifespan is meant to be six months, one is 1 year. So they are thinking that, okay, last year we spent 10 million naira for the cost for adults and coverall. This year we spend this thing. They will be thinking that, okay, they are spending more. But you have to make them realize that they are spending less. The cost of prevention is far less than the cost of accidents. The money we spend to prevent is less than when an accident happens. So you have to always like put this thing into perspective. Let them see it. Management, investors want to hear figures. put the figures in place. Remember, the cost of prevention is far less than the cost of accident. So after telling them the direct cost, you let them know the indirect cost. The delays, like I mentioned then, having to wait, shut down the plant for 1 month, you have to delay. Now, the whole world, the whole country is aware that that company is not a is not a safety responsible, it's not a responsible company. So they just go online and just keep posting like they try to make it look like they are doing one of the best thing in the world, not knowing that that company is not even safety responsible. They are not sustainable. So you've damaged the reputation because of what a simple prevention could have, something like probably if a smoke detector could have prevented. Probably providing PPE to the workers could have prevented that worker from dying. Now it's on the news that they've killed, that somebody died in that organization because of an unsafe condition. Not an unsafe act of the worker, unsafe condition that the organization made the worker to work in. I don't know if I'm communicating. Are we together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This will put it into perspective. So just like the last one there, the loss of skilled workers. So that is financial reasons. So now with all of these things happening, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear you, sir?
Oh, okay. Trying to, where's my slide? I don't know if they can hear me yet. No, it's network. Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I had a call on the other line, which is affecting my network. Sorry about that. So after talking about the financial reasons for this, so we now talk at now, if anything happens, it affects everybody in general. So now everybody should know their roles and responsibility so that if everybody do what they are supposed to do, what happens? The system becomes more efficient. The safety of everybody, we can be sure that nothing will go wrong. because you are doing what you are supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make sure that everybody is safe. So this brings us to the roles and responsibility. In HSE, they say safety is everyone's business. Why safety is also your responsibility. Safety is your responsibility. Safety is my responsibility. And safety is everybody's business. So that means nobody is exempted, isn't it? So now we need to know the roles of everybody one by one. So next, so we start with the organization itself. And when we talk about the organization, we are talking about the employers, the people that called us, the people that employ you, the people that employ the other person you are working with, your colleagues. So what is their responsibility? It is their responsibility to ensure that they provide a safe system that we can work in. Remember, like we said, it is their responsibility to make sure that the workplace is safe. So how do they make sure that the workplace is safe? They make sure that there's a risk assessment, like whatever work, whatever the process is all about, they have a risk assessment ready. Like there's a risk assessment of their whole process. They are the colleagues you are going to work with. You don't know them before you start working with them. You do not know their qualification. You don't know how competent they are. The same colleague attitude or their mistake, their unsafe act can put you in an unfavorable position, isn't it? Hello, is it my internet?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you don't know the people you are working with before they bring them. They just the way you are employed, the same way they employ the other person. You have a team of 6 people, 6 persons, and everybody is an engineer. In quotes, is that person qualified? Is he really an engineer? You don't know. It is the organization responsibility to do all those findings. They are the one that they are the one that they interview the person and believe that okay, this person is right for the job. So we have to work with them. So when they are recruiting, it is the organization's responsibility to make sure that who they are bringing in to do this work, you may not even be aware of the kind of work that's going to be going on because everybody has their roles and responsibility. It's because of what they are doing. Probably there's an explosion, or probably there's a fire outbreak due to the nature of the kind of work they are doing. So it is the responsibility of an organization to make sure that who they are employing is very, very competent. Because when you employ a competent person, you can be sure of this, because competency also means that that person understand the safety. Because you cannot say you are competent in what you are doing and don't understand the safety aspect of that work that you are doing. You get. So they conduct a risk assessment. It is not your own. Who they are employing, they provide, like we are having a refresher. Who they are employing, they make sure that they train them before they bring them into the plant. That's why you don't just go into the plant or probably the production environment and you just get access into the place. So it's expected that when they are bringing them, they've trained that person, they've given them the basic training of what it is to be in that environment. So that they don't put if your organization if somebody you can sue them because they are putting your own life at risk. You get. So the employers have responsibility. So they provide training even for you, a refresher training, or okay, maybe they have a new process. They don't just push the operator to go and start operating it. The operator has to learn the process. So it is the organization's responsibility to make sure that they train the operator. It is the organization responsibility to make sure that they provide information about the new process too. You get? So it is also their responsibility to make sure that they train everybody and there's supervision of what they are doing. You won't, as a worker in an organization, it is their responsibility to make sure you are safe. Don't forget to provide a safe system of work. And part of it is means that they have to provide you PPE, provide the other person PPE, free of charge. They will not tell you to go and operate in a noisy environment. There's no earmuff. There's no safety boots, and you are working on probably on a hot surface. It is their responsibility because if anything happens to you without, there's a difference between you are provided with PPE and you did not wear it. That's an unsafe act from you. It is an unsafe condition that is created by the organization not to have made sure that you have the necessary things that you need to do, the necessary training to make sure that that environment is safe, to make sure there's even water for you to drink. As more as remember HSE, health safety environment, health safety environment, everything encompassing. It is their responsibility. So once everybody knows their responsibility and do what they are supposed to do, what happens? We have a safe place. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So part of it, you can let, if you are the supervisor or the managers, you also have your responsibility. Now somebody tell me the responsibility of okay, let's say you are a manager. What is your responsibility? Victory.
Um, Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, I think the first thing is to ensure that those team members that are under you are all trained on the right safety precaution before sending them to the site or the production area.
Awesome. Victory, you are raising your hands. Hello, Victory. You were raising your hands. Please go ahead. Okay. I think that was an error. So thank you very much for that. As a supervisor and line managers, so it is your responsibility that has already been stated. Make sure you monitor what they are doing. You monitor day-to-day activities of those people that are working under you. Is this person doing it right way? What is the rule for this machine? What is the rule for this job? What are the standards that must be in the standard operating procedure? Provide it. Let them know it. You see that you're a worker under you, your subordinate is doing an unsafe act. You have seen it. It is your responsibility to correct that person, stop that person. Make sure they are not doing that. So everybody has well, if we all play our role, we won't be in a mess the way we happen to see it all around because of somebody's negligence. I'm doing my own, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but somebody out there is not doing what it's supposed to do. Maybe when I say somebody out there, it could be the organization that is not even doing what they are supposed to do. The top management. You there's no standard operating procedure, and you call yourself a manager. People are working under you. They are operating. They don't have a standard operating procedure for that machine. This shift comes in, does this. The other ones does another thing, and you are there. And you call yourself a manager. What are you creating? you are falling short of what you should do. You cannot stop an activity that you know that is unsafe and you call yourself a manager. There's nothing different from that manager and probably a roadside person that doesn't have an idea of safety. Leadership. Leadership is very, very important. We as HSC, we have the HSC officers. What is your role as HSC officer? You inspect the workplace, job hazard analysis, make sure you join them, come together, call the people, let's do a JHA of this activity we want to do. Not only you, ensure the people that understands the process very well are there. Do a JHSA with them. When there's an incident, a near miss is reported to you as an HSC officer. You do not go there to go and to make sure that okay, this thing is closed out. They report it to you, and you didn't close you didn't close it out, and you know that, or an unsafe condition has been reported, and you know that this thing is something you can just close out. Maybe the person that reports it cannot even close it out. You didn't go there to close it out, and you know another person is going there to go and work. What kind of HSC officer are we having? It's not just salary. It's not just salary. You see that you've noticed that there's been a pattern between the probably we don't have to wait for the management. We also have responsibility. You've noticed a pattern in probably the way they do things within the let's say the few persons you are working with or the few persons you are supervising as HSC officers, the people work, and you know it has to be next week Friday or maybe next week before we are going to have a training on source, and you cannot just call them, explain some things to them. We all have role to play. Let's do it. Deliver, do a safety training for them on that particular thing you've noticed, pending when another training is going to be held. Have it as a recommendation to the managers that this is part of the trainings they need to do. What you need to do at that moment, if you can call them, put some things in place, teach them, train them, because that is why you are a safety person. Everybody get do your own. No, now you've seen something that is wrong and you are watching it. The operation manager that has process knowledge majorly, you've noticed that the pattern of their process, you think there need to be an improvement. You are not advising them on what to do to make sure that the safety of that process is improved. It is not responsible of us. So we have a role to play. Advise the management on the safety improvement. You see somebody, you are a safety officer supervising a particular work that is going on at the moment. You notice that the way they are doing this thing is not safe enough. Correct them, stop it and correct them. They may not know better. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So this is generally for everybody. Now the organization has employed us generally. They have provided PPE for you to wear. You are not putting on PPE. You see some stuff. Well, this cover on Aito, they will remove it, and you can still see that probably they are working with some chemicals. They've provided a nose mask. They provided a nose mask for you. I can't breathe well, and you are only going to spend maybe 2 minutes with that chemical. In a situation whereby comfort and safety, because we are always trying to improve to make sure that safety comes with comfort. It's a continuous improvement. But we all know there are times whereby there are discomfort, whereby probably the PPE or whatever it is not that comfortable. probably because of our body structure or something. But at that point in time, when comfort and safety, when you have to choose between comfort and safety, when comfort and safety becomes an option, safety first. You don't go with comfort. Like, no, me, I no fit breathe well with this thing. Oh. Not that. You remove your nose mask or any chemical. Now, what happens to you? Because you are not sneezing at that moment. You have no issues. What happens? There's a chronic effect. It will now accumulate later in future. Maybe after you've even left the organization. You left the organization maybe 5 years later. Later you are now you are now diagnosed with probably respiratory problem, or probably you are having cancer, and you've even left the organization for a very long time. It has accumulated. So sometimes, because we can see, and that is why I give it to to the people doing PPE now. I give it to the safety professionals. They are involved in a lot of things, making sure that they bring comfort into safety, trying to remodify our PPEs to make sure that it's um it's suitable for different body types. To make sure that, okay, when you wear a cover, it's fitted, you like it. It's not that you just, some people maybe they don't just like the way it looks on their body. They're now bringing fashion into safety. They are bringing comfort. They, like, despite being fashionable, it's still meeting with safety. You get what I'm saying? You see new safety boots now, because some people, the olden days safety boots we used to have, you see them looking so bogus, like very big. You see people wearing, you are finding it hard to carry. But now you see some safety boots, very fine. You don't even know it's safety boot, but when you check it, it's meeting with the old standard of safety. But in that situation, we may not necessarily meet ourselves in that situation, because some of us will work in an organization where it's still like they've not gotten to a particular extent. Probably the PP are not that we have to, when there comes to safety and comfort, pick safety until when there can be safety and comfort together. So we have a responsibility. You've seen, and now you see, you are walking, you see water on the floor. You just walk by. Ah, you almost tripped, but nothing happened to you. You just waka comot. You left. Now, a very close worker, one of your friend, step on the same water, slippery floor, and hit his head on the floor. Now the person is in the hospital. This person is having issues with their ass cracked on their head, and now having issue, and they are now in the hospital because of what you saw. That could have happened to you, but it did not happen because of a near miss that you failed to report. How do you feel? You failed to report a near miss. Now the near miss has caused an accident and somebody is a victim. How do you feel? When there's a near miss is reported and is closed out, you have prevented, you have saved a life. Although it may not be recorded because it didn't happen. But at every point, have this at back, every moment, every time you report a near miss, just know you have saved a life. Be proud of yourself for that day. How many near misses have I reported today? Or how many unsafe condition have I seen that I've reported? You see that this thing is not safe. You see some hazard. How many hazard have I reported today? Every time you report an hazard, just have it at the back of your mind. You've saved life. You've saved the property. Have a score sheet for yourself if you've done a lot. So let it be at the back of your mind that at every point in time, I'm looking out for hazard that I want to report. For every hazard that is reported and is closed out, for every near miss that happens and you also close it out before it happens, before it becomes a big issue, before it happens to somebody else, you have saved a life. You have prevented something catastrophic. You are working at tight because somebody offended you, now carry spanner, stone that person from up on scaffold, carry spanner, stone the person. Look at it, doesn't make sense. All these things are happening every day because people are not aware. They don't know the gravity of these things. You know that when you do an unsafe act, let's say you have a PPE and you have a had that you didn't wear it, you're not going to the plant, you are not working, then you hit your head on something. And even a dead body, they can issue query to a dead body. Somebody is dead and they are giving the person query because the organization is trying to they are trying to defend themselves too because they provide what is supposed to they provide PPE for the person. And probably the process design, there's no way you will do without having to bend down when you have to pass there. And that is why you have to wear your hat so that in case you mistakenly eat, it can prevent it. But now you're not putting it. What happens? This is wrong. We all have responsibilities. We all have our roles, and we should be responsible. Some persons, because they've been working for years and they have a standard operating procedure, they have an instructions, or you are telling them that this is the instruction. They are telling you that this thing why don't they do for 20 years? I've been doing this thing for 20 years. Look at you, safety. You are telling me this thing. I've been doing this thing for 20 years. Are you the one that have been safeguarding me? That is why you realize that many people, because years of experience, they are the one that gets injured most because most of the time they are used to this thing. They just feel, I can't do this. This is how I've been doing this thing. No, because you've been doing it for so long doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right. So all of these things is very, very important. We as safety professionals, we don't just need to know this. We also need to let them know, let everybody know. This awareness has to go. It has to go around. So that is the role of employee. So now we go to the regulators and governments. It's happening, oh, this regulatory and government, they have roles to play. They create and enforce law. Now they've said, so if you don't have qualification, you should not get to you should not do this. If you don't have qualification, you cannot take, you cannot be responsible for thing. They've set a standard. As an organization, if you don't have, before you start a project, this is what you need to put in place. You want to start, let's say, a construction project. You have to make sure that you have put the organization has to provide PPE. The organization has to make sure the workplace is safe. They are to come and enforce the law. They come to the site. Many of the regulators will not go into the site. They will go through the back door. They will sit down with the people managing the organization. They will collect one envelope. When they come, they are sipping tea and everybody, after sipping tea, they are leaving. After sipping tea, they collect their brown envelope. They didn't even know. They didn't do the inspection they are supposed to do. They have not enforced any law, all because of money. These things are happening. They have their roles. If they see, if our regulatory agencies and governments play their role, so many organizations will be closed down today. So many. If regulatory agencies and our safety statistic, the negative part of it will reduce because that operation will not even go on in the first place. Because that company will not even exist, will not even be licensed in the first place. That project will not go ahead in the first place. People that are meant to inspect workplace, people that are meant to issue that to tell you that okay, this is where you for make there should be an improvement in so thing. There should be they have prohibited this and they are still using it. Offenders are not being prosecuted. Serious offenders, they are not being prosecuted. So the regulators and the government have a role to play. Same way everybody has a role to play. Okay, now look at all these highlights. Combine it together. If we do what we are supposed to do, look, just imagine how much we will reduce accidents. Just imagine how much we will reduce accidents. Just imagine how much. You see a tanker going and driving on the road, no motorboy, something of that size, moving on the road, no motorboy. You see a driver driving for an organization without driver's license, and the regulatory agencies that are supposed to even to have checked there, and you realize that you even see some drivers and not some containers, some tankers, they are not roadworthy, but they have license, they've approved it. They you see agencies have come, they've checked it, they've approved it, all these things are perfect, they are working fine. So what happened? Because everybody is not doing what they are supposed to do. We all have a role to play. We all have a role to play. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So I want to ask a few questions. Personally, guys, as you get into an organization, what will you do? What do you think you can do to improve? You just get employed. What do you think you can do to improve the health and safety? What is your role? What will you do to improve it? Okay, Akoledo.
Okay, sir. Is it as a safety officer or just employee?
Yeah, as an individual, as employee, as a
Okay.
safety officer, whichever role you think you are going to play.
As an individual, first thing first is to observe. Okay, so to observe the work and the safety precautions and the safety rules, and to observe if, as in the current employee, are they adhering to the rules. So that's the first thing to observe. So after the observation, then I will now have a report on what I find. Then if I see that some part of the safety rules are not being adhered to, or there are some safety equipment that are not provided that are supposed to be present, then I may have to have my report to the line manager or the supervisor.
Thank you for that. Okay, Jimo.
For me, if I find myself in an organization, I think what I will contribute is to increase safety awareness. There are a lot of people working in the facility that are unaware about their own safety, or maybe so some are even aware of it, but they just don't care about their safety. So what I would do is to increase safety awareness, and also I would uh, I would ensure that I always use my PPE, because when you see your employee using his or her PPE all the time, somehow you'll be motivated to use yours too, and from there you are preventing possible workplace accidents. So this will be my contribution if I find myself in an organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamil. Yeah, Jimo. Victory, you have the floor, followed by Shegun. After Victory, Shegun, you go on after Victory. Victory, please.
Okay, sir. So for me, I'd say regular trainings. I don't know, could be quarterly or biannually. Because one thing I observed, even as an intern, I don't know if it's because I was an intern there, but I observed that there were not like frequent trainings, to sensitize the employees about the latest happenings or to update themselves, even encourage them to take up, courses that could change their perspective about how they handle safety ethics even in the industry. So I believe regular trainings, no matter how little or how elaborate, employees need to undergo trainings.
Okay, thank you, Shegun. Thank you very much, Victory.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. So
Okay,
I'm going to share. Let me just share an experience I had in my previous place of work.
okay,
When I got there, I discovered that though they say they have safety, but the practice, the culture was not really showcasing that there was safety adherence there. So what I did was, first of all, I have to understand the system, and thereafter organized a training, uh, just a training just to meet them first of all. After that, we have to set subsequent trainings for clarity for them to really understand what safety is really all about. And this was not just only included to the workers alone. I have to also involve the management because one major thing I've discovered about safety in an organization, the fact that even if you set up your rules, your standard as a safety personnel, if the management is not in support, you're not going to get anywhere with it because you will need a maximum support from them. So I involved the management to really see the reasons why safety is core in that industry, and they agreed. So we're working together, and all of a sudden the culture started changing. People could work even without supervision. They understood the fact that this safety thing is personal, and I have to also make sure that I take care of the person I'm working with. So it became a norm. We were so safety conscious with the trainings. We put up signs. We could do toolbox meetings. A lot of engagement and participation as well for the workers, getting them involved into the system. So it was a very good one, implementing those acts and practices. Thank you, sir.
thank you very much. Well done, Shegun. That's a very good one. So I want to ask a question. A machine operator sleeps on an oil spill near his workstation. There's an operator doing some work, doing probably running a machine. Uh, so the operator now step on a spilled oil. Are we together? That is near his workstation where he's working. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. There was
Yes, sir,
no
we're
one.
together.
Okay. It's not the one that poured the oil on the floor, or probably he didn't notice, but somebody else have seen the oil on the floor, but walked past it. Now the machine operator now sleep on that oil. There's no one inside, Somebody else have seen it before. He was wearing ordinary shoe, not the safety boots. There's grip that can grip the floor. Who is responsible? Hmm?
Sorry, sir. Please, can you come again with the
Did you
question?
get my question?
I,
The operator sleep on that oil spill that is near his workstation. There was no warning sign. Somebody else have seen the spill before, and the machine operator himself wasn't wearing a safety boot. Was wearing was wearing ordinary shoe. So now I'm asking you, who is responsible? And from what we've explained so far, personally to you, just like our last class, that we did the last class where we had to point out, we have to pick which side we are on. So, as a person, as a safety professional now, with what you've learned so far, which driver will you say apply most? I'm asking you, when you tell me who is responsible, you are not telling me which driver you are going to apply most, why you picked that person as being responsible. Is it for the moral, the legal, or the financial? And if you were in that position of that person, what would you have done differently? I can see some hands are now leaving. I had a lot of hands up before. Okay, Victory, go on before Jamil.
Okay. All right. I think I pretty much got the story. So for me, I'd say the oil operator, that's the machine operator rather, is actually at fault first. Why? Because he or she did not, before you even start up any your job for the day, your responsibility is to put on your PPE, whether he was aware of anything, to at least protect him or herself first. Then that's on the
Okay.
the moral aspect, like he or she's supposed to have before even start start up his work for the day or his task for the day. He or she ought to have put on his PPE. And like you said, every time you report in MSS, you save a life or a property. And that guy that did not report or correct such a thing, that the oil spill was also wrong on the side. But I'll blame it more on the machine operator for not putting on his PPE before starting up
Okay.
anything.
Okay. Thank you, Victory. Jamil, let's hear from you.
All right. I will be 100% on Victory's side, because as an employee, and like you said earlier, everybody's safety is everyone's responsibility, and then you should have wear your PPE before entering into the workshop. And one other thing is that you must be safety conscious when you are going into a workshop. You must observe your environment before even starting or doing anything of that first. Then, yeah, that is why I will say the machine operator is the one that will be responsible for that. Yes, then followed by the personnel that walk past such or spillage without reporting or leaving alarm about it. So that is my own point of view too.
Okay. Thank you. Any other person?
For me, I believe the two persons are actually guilty here, because we know safety is an individual. It starts personal, and before relating it to others, safety begins with me. As the acronym normally says, safety begins with me. The fault of the first person is that he saw a near miss and he couldn't do something to tackle the effect on time.
Okay.
So that's one reason, that's one issue of not making safety a culture or an habit, has maybe put such, we now make him now to put another person into problem or falling into an hazard. And secondly, the person that was working in that operation at that particular time, not putting on his PPE, is actually wrong, because that generally they didn't practice safety. Safety was not part of their culture. So I will blame both of them actually.
Okay. Thank you for that. James, thank you very much for that. James.
I think I will agree with Regina what she just said. Because it is saying that all accidents are preventable. I think two of them are at fault, in the sense that two of them did not practice the safety culture. Because I always believe that an accident is preventable. Because if that first individual has actually reported that near miss, or if it is within his capacity to correct it, he will have been able to eliminate that risk of somebody falling. Then on the other part, this other person too, once you are working in a workplace, in a risk-prone environment, you ought to be properly kitted with your PPE. no matter what, so that even if an accident occurs, it will reduce the impact on your body system. Thank you, sir.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much. Jimo.
Yes, sir, I definitely agree with the last two speakers. Both of
Okay,
them are at fault, especially the first person who ignored an unsafe condition. Also, the second
okay,
person who was practicing an unsafe act. So both of them are feeling
okay,
the wrong. So I'll blame both of
okay,
them.
okay. Thank you. So you guys didn't tell me what you would have done differently now.
Okay, yes, that's true. Okay, is it what I would have done differently as the first or second person or as the HSE
The
personnel?
two, the two.
Okay, for the first person, once a kind of hazard is analyzed or it's like is sensed, let me use that statement, you have to do all possible means to eliminate that hazard. Because even with the wearing of PPE, we all know that PPE is the last level of elimination of any hazard. The very first thing we should do is to remove hazard, anything that can cause hazard at all. Elimination is the best. Because another thing could have happened even if that second person was putting on PPE and the PPE could have not maybe protected it enough. So the best thing for me as the first person is to ensure that that hazard is eliminated totally and completely. Because I never can tell who will be coming into that room at that particular time. And for the second person, kitting up is key. We know it's the last method of elimination of every hazard, but we never can tell the next point or the next thing that can happen, the next who can be victimized anytime. So that's why taking up safety as a culture is utmost priority for every individual and every workplace environment. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. James.
Okay. Regina have said much on it. So just to buttress more on that point, because I agree with what she just said. In my workplace, there's this slogan that I always tell my workers: if you see something, you do something, and you say something. So once you spot an hazard, we have seen it. If it is within your limit to correct it immediately, you correct it. But if it's beyond your capacity to correct it, then you report to the appropriate authority that can close out that hazard immediately, or so that there will be an awareness within that environment, within that workplace, that there's an hazard there. Everybody needs to be alert so that an injury will not occur in this particular place in the workplace. Then the second person, if I were the person, if I'm entering the work site, I know that I need to be properly kitted. There are some work areas that they classify them into various zones. This one is a safe zone. You don't need to wear PPE. I believe that area that worker is working should be a high risk zone. So if I were him, I would have wear my PPE completely. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, James. So everybody have spoken well, like very, very well. I'm very impressed. Thank you very much for that. So, do we all agree with that? That first, the person that saw, the spill at first, which happens to be a near miss, did not report and also did not put a signage there to show that okay, there's a spill on the floor. Are we together? Then the other person, that's the operator who wanted to operate the machine, who slips and fell on the floor. He wasn't putting on a PPE, a proper shoe, safety boots. He was only putting on an ordinary shoe. So which a safety boot probably would have had enough grip to hold him instead of from falling. That's that. So he wasn't putting on his PPE, which he has not done. He has not, like, we have defined our roles and responsibility. It is your responsibility as a worker when you have been provided with PPE to put on a PPE, to put it on, to wear it correctly. So that person has fall short in his responsibility. And it's also our responsibility as workers to report unsafe acts, unsafe condition. The other person has also fall short of their responsibility. So who is responsible? The two of them are responsible. It is for more, like I said, which of the driver applied most? Moral. You have, and also for legal, the do you think the organization will be fined? No. They've provided the operator with the proper PPE, but the operator was not putting on the PPE. What should have been done differently? Like we've all said, should have been reported. The operator should also have put on his PPE, the proper one, the safety boots. And this whole thing would not have got into a situation whereby probably when if probably preventing him from the sleep. So are we together? So
Yes.
for today, as from our course outline, we are stopping here. So in summary, what we've done today, we understood that HSE is meant to protect people, property, and the environment, right? And we have three main reasons why we manage HSE. We have the moral reasons, we have the financial reasons, and we have the legal reasons. The moral, it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do personally, and even for the organization. Personally, it is the right thing to do for you to, to remain safe, to act well. Your safety is your responsibility. You should first of all take your safety very, very important. You don't put your life on another person. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Legally, the law the law requires it. There's a law, there are rules and regulations. As an organization, it is your responsibility to make sure that the workplace is safe. Financially, we all know, and we should always have a detailed explanation, especially when we are letting our organization know why they should manage it. That prevention is cheaper than accidents. Prevention is cheaper than accidents. And some implications are indirect. A reputation lost may never be recovered. There is a particular transport company now that when you want to take it, people like, those ones will be say they in quotes, those ones will be saying na accident every time that they get. I don't know if you get. There are so many like that you say, last time accident, this time accident. It's always accident about that transport company, stuff like that. Or that organization is every time they're having fire outbreak, is every time their production process is exploding. And we should also know that roles are shared. Everyone from the employers to the workers has a part to play. Everybody, we all have a part to play. So the essence of this one, of this particular week 2, is for us to to enlighten our awareness, to enlighten us and to bring out our safety to how do I put it? To make us to bring our awareness and to make us be more proactive. We need to be more proactive. So let us be aware of the safety implications of everything and to be aware of safety itself. That's the essence. That's what I'm trying to align this particular session for. So we have our week 3, which will be going to be next week. From the outline that we have with us, we can see what do we have for next week. Where are we going to for next week? Anybody? I want to see if we are actually following up with the week 3. Okay, let me go ahead. Our week 3 is hazard identification and risk assessment. So now we have understood our roles and responsibility. Now we are going into it proper. Hazard identification and risk assessment. We're going to talk about how we are going to identify hazard and how we are going to do our risk assessments. While our week 4 is going to be permit to work, toolbox talk, job hazard analysis, or job safety analysis, depending on how we call it. So hazard identification and risk assessment for next week. So let's get ready. And also my assignment for today will be, we'll have to review that last assignment. Oh, I'm really impressed with what you guys did. But take note for the next assignment. My role in promoting safety culture. So what is your role in promoting safety culture? There are 3 things I want you to look out for. How you will behave to support safety. How you will react to unsafe acts and unsafe condition. You are an HSE professional. How will you behave to support safety in your organization? How will you react to unsafe act and unsafe condition? And one common safety issue and what is your solution? Should I take that again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Title: My role in promoting safety culture. So what you are describing for me is how you will behave to support safety in your first job or whatever it is that you are doing now. How you will behave to support safety. How will you react to unsafe act and unsafe condition? And one common safety issue in your community that you have noticed, and what is your solution? I'll drop it on our group chat. If we didn't get it, I'll drop it on our group chat. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from our last, what was our assignment? What was our assignment in last class? Somebody.
Okay, sir. The assignment was on what do you think is the biggest barrier to developing a strong safety culture in the workplace? Is that lack of knowledge, lack of care, and pressure from bosses?
Okay, lack of knowledge, lack of care, and pressure from bosses. So let me start with you. What do you think? So we are reviewing our assignment. I have all your assignments here and I'm looking through it. Although some
Okay,
people
sir.
give me
So,
AI answer. So go ahead, ma.
okay, okay, sir. So I talked about pressure from bosses because
Okay.
looking at it,
You have
lack of
one one minute 30 seconds. So please just so that I'll take everybody's.
Okay, sir. So I talked about pressure from bosses. I was looking at it, lack of knowledge knowledge can actually be learned. So before a safety personnel is put into the field, he has to be taught on what to do. So we can say as a safety officer, you have knowledge about what to do. So the lack of knowledge can be learned. Then lack of care. There's nobody that wants to harm him or herself in the workplace. We're looking at the pressure from bosses um can actually be a barrier in developing a strong safety culture, in the sense that workers can in the sense that leadership offices can emphasize speed, let's say productivity, and also they look at profit. Sometimes they look at profit over like the safety of their workers. So workers might also feel that they need to get the job done like in a period of time. So they tend to overlook safety culture in the workplace. So that's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much. Regina. Hello, Regina. Regina, are you there? Okay, James.
I'm sorry, I got caught up from the network.
Okay. Please go on.
I didn't really get the last assignment. So I was on Zoom, I was on YouTube. I didn't get the Zoom link. So
Okay.
I could not really get the assignment before the end of the class.
Okay. Okay. So you didn't submit your last assignment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, James.
Okay, sir. Yeah. I chose the option of lack of knowledge as the biggest barrier. So first of all, I defined what safety culture is, and I said that safety culture is the way the people in an organization think and feel about safety and how it affects their behavior in the organization. So first of all, once there is a wrong knowledge about safety, like most times in some organization, they tell you that safety is expensive. So that erroneous knowledge of safety is a barrier. Then people in the organization, the management not knowing that safety, not knowing the positive impact of safety in the organization. Another one is the organization itself not integrating safety management system into how they carry out things in the organization, into their management system. Then erroneous knowledge of safety itself, not knowing that safety actually reduces the rate of incidents in the organization, accidents, turnover, reduces the turnover of workers. So generally, I spoke on the knowledge that the organization don't normally have that knowledge. So that erroneous knowledge is actually a key factor. Can
Hello?
you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me, James? Can
Yes,
you
sir.
hear me? Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you. Okay. Okay. Well done.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
that's all. That was awesome. So who's next? I want us to learn from each other. So who's next? To hear what you
Hello, sir.
please go
Hello, sir.
ahead.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can
Hello,
hear you. Go
Ashok.
ahead.
Okay, so for me, I chose pressure from bosses. And I just want to say, just like you said a minute, let me just quickly summarize. A strong safety culture will thrive more when leadership makes safety non-negotiable. which means that leadership in the safety culture is key. If leaders don't support, then every other thing that we're doing doesn't make any sense. So for me, I see that pressure from bosses is one of the major barrier to having a good safety culture. And one other thing I also noted was the fact that if bosses don't walk the talk, then safety is just a dormant document and there's no value for safety. And one other point as well that I made is the fact that um, because the workers are under pressure to do what the managers who are supposed to practice safety are not doing, they are scared of if I don't do this thing, I'm likely going to lose my job. So let me just do the way the guy said it. If it's to do a shortcut, let me do it because I don't want to lose my job. So I feel that for me, pressure from bosses is a major barrier to having a good safety culture. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Uh, Abdulrahman, before victory. Abdulrahman, go ahead.
Yes, in my assignment, I identified lack of knowledge to be the biggest barrier to developing a strong safety culture in the workplace. And also in the assignment, I highlighted a specific example on how being safety conscious could prevent workplace accident even for a new recruit. Take for an instance as a new recruit organization that doesn't have a robust safety culture, knowledge of safety, who is safety conscious. You know what your role is towards safety, and you know what the organization role is towards safety. So there's some expectations that you would have that you are expecting from the organization. So if the organization falls short of this, because you are safety conscious and you are knowledgeable about safety, and you know what to do to ensure that you do not put yourself at risk, you do not put yourself at the risk of injuries or harm. So I think that is it. I identified lack of knowledge as the biggest barrier to developing safety culture in the
Okay.
workplace. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Two things from the other person so that we can all learn. Okay, because some of us have picked something else, some of us, so we are all correct. So let's just see the thought process of the other person. Why did they pick? Why did this person pick pressure from boss? Why did this person pick lack of knowledge? So Victory, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, sir. So for me, although sorry, this person, Mr. Jimo, please mute yourself. Thank you. All right. So for me, I chose pressure from bosses as the major barrier to safety culture. So why did I choose that? So during our last class, so I learned that so there was a scenario that was shared whereby okay, production was supposed to take place, and along the line the pipe was probably leaking, and they will have to shut down whatsoever they will need to do to for production to actually take place, so as to sort out that issue first, to fix that issue, that situation, maybe the valve, so before any other production can take place or any operation can take place. But because the bosses will want to meet up with targets, and probably they're thinking they don't want to lose money, and they are probably trying to meet up with the schedule, they might say, please just look for how you can just ride on with the operations. As far as it is manageable, let's just ensure we meet up to targets. And that, even though you are the safety officer and you have someone to answer to, if they say do this, no matter you want to say it, they might not listen, and the bosses will have to now influence your decisions, and you don't want to be sanctioned even when they don't meet up to target and you are fined or something. You will have no other choice than to go along with them. So most of the times, and are in a situation whereby we want to obey and follow our the instructions of our bosses most of the time, so that it doesn't seem like you are the black sheep of the whole organization. So for me, I actually chose that and borrowed your scenario in class to also back up my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. Well done. And I call it the
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, first thing is that I understand that every of those actions are barrier to developing safety in an organization. But to me, I still believe lack of knowledge is the biggest barrier to developing strong safety culture. Because when we look at the other part, pressure from bosses, it goes the lack of knowledge goes beyond just knowing that okay, before you do this you have to wear this, you have to put on this, you have to do that. It goes about that. If every boss actually know the effects of not following uh, safety precaution, like the financial impact it may have on both the boss itself and the company, and also the legal action, like for example, now let's say an employee is supposed to work in a furnace. They are supposed to be left for a week before another operation can be carried out on it. Then, as a boss, you are like, okay, it's 4 days already. The furnace will be cool by now. So, because we want to meet up with the targets, we now tell our employee to go on to start working in such furnace or in a confined area. Then something happened, the employee got injured or died in the process. The family may sue the company, and then that does not leave the boss behind. He may end up in jail. If he knows and all that is at the back of his mind, he will think twice before mounting pressure on employee to work in an unsafe condition or to work in an unsafe place. So the lack of knowledge is still the background of everything. Just imagine an organization whereby the safety awareness is coming like weekly. And the same safety awareness that was done on Monday, then one boss is not telling you to go against that safety. Even though you don't want to lose your job, I also know you don't want to lose your life too, or you don't want to lose any part of your body. So I still believe that lack of knowledge is still the biggest of all the barriers to developing safety in an organization. Thank you.
thank you very much for that. That's awesome. So who's Simyat, are you there? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is next? I think we've all spoken. Simyat, Imaligat. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So I think we've been able to see the other viewpoint and also see the reason we've all spoken well, we've all done our assignment very well. We've all done our assignment very well, and you guys are doing wonderful, and I'm very, very happy. Because if we continue on this pace, I'm sure I'm sure I can be very, 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 very proud to say that okay, these guys they are good to go. So most important thing, this class we are today is something that you cannot do away from while we manage HSE as a safety professional. You will be in meetings, you will be in you'll be in organizations, you have to, you know, so many things happen. You want to write a budget, you want to request for something, you have to put these things into perspective. And how do you put it? You know, the three reasons. Once the moral failed and you can see, know that everything you're doing, back it up with the three together, both the moral, the financial, and the legal. Am I communicating? So we'll see
Sure.
again next week.
Yes,
See you
sir.
again next week. I believe the moderator will tell us when we are meeting again next week. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please, before you exit, hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I don't know if you can maybe stop the recording since you already made a host because the moderator left due to network.
Okay.
So that,
I've done
okay,
that.
yes, so that you have the recording saved in the Zoom.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. You have a wonderful night
Uh,
rest and have
Sorry, sir. Also, sir, I want to ask if we'll be getting the material you are giving for the stuff.
uh
As to it's not sir.
should I give you guys material?
Yes, sir, we need them.
No, we need it, sir.
Okay. I'll do that. But not now. But I'll give out the material.
All right, sir.
For
Thank
each
you, sir.
week. You know, I get to prepare slide every week for each and every because I had to divide it so that we can take it. But there's something I want you guys to always do for me. That's the essence of the outline. We can see the risk assessment and that we have risk assessment and the hazard identification. Let's do our homework on it so that by the time we are coming, so that we can easily flow with each other. So that you can even ask questions that something if you have something that you need to understand better during the course of the class. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.